Hey, this is Jim at 7:30 a.m. in San Francisco, California on July the 19th. Please note that all discussions, analysis, and information presented are for general informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or any other form of professional advice. So really clear setup today, and it looks good to me. I mean, the key is that we need to move back above this $4.45 Nimoy daily trigger. So we'll talk about volume first, and then I'll bounce over to some of the lower time frame charts. So this is the 60-minute chart that I've been sharing with you guys on YouTube for weeks and months, I guess, at this point. And the last time I did a video, I talked about this sort of with two different volume fractals here. This one that I've just highlighted, that downtrend line, and then this one over here. We talked about the fact that within this entire view here that we're looking at, that I consider this to sort of be the parent volume fractal. We're looking good because we had the 12 million share green bar, which kicked off this move to the upside right here. All the rest of this movement is purely them trying to extend extend in time and buy time, but there's nothing about that has looked bearish in volume or anything else I'm looking at. So if we think in terms of this being a parent fractal, we've got this wedging pattern, and this wedging pattern I've been referring to this as sort of the older brother and the younger brother, but these are child fractals to this guy, not meaning that they're identical in the true sense of a price fractal, but it's just, I don't know how else to describe this to you guys as far as setting up the expectations for how important each one of these are compared to the other one. So this is the most important. We're looking good with this 12 million share volume. Then this guy's the next most important, then this one. So what I said in the last video is, as we get this collision point of this little small degree downtrending volume colliding through the nesting or resting volume, that instead of taking off to the upside, we're probably going to see rejection off of this downtrend, which is what we saw. 4.6, volume broke out exactly on time the way it should, but we posted a red 4.649 million 60-minute bar right there. Rejects you back down and moves us into this sort of more of the most recent kind of moment of truth here, which was late yesterday on the 17th, where we were supposed to break out of this downtrend of volume spikes into this nesting resting volume. So we got the breakout, and this bar came a little bit early. Came right at the open on the 18th, but it was a 4.958 million share green bar. So already engulfed this red bar. So again, across the board, no matter what you're looking at here, the bulls are in charge from my view. Now you guys can see that volume has continued after it cooled off a little bit. It has continued to move up in a really mechanical way. If you look at, if I move this over, let me remove this circle. Look at how the tops of these volume bars are like exactly crawling along a line. I mean, this is totally mechanical, and these guys are suppressing volume, but still volume's rising. And I'll show you on the 5-minute time frame in a minute here that it's looking really good on that time frame as well. So no change here. What we're really looking for, if you want to see a move up toward 1188, the Anemoi monthly trigger, or higher, if we were to have a sudden spike up to 21, and by sudden spike I mean over a 2-week period, it would probably take volume running this hot, 15 million shares per 60-minute bar, and 3 consecutive green closing bars of 15 million or more. All right, let me show you guys this. I'll show you Nimoy really quickly first. So here's the Anemoi setup. You can see how coiled up we are. I'll remove that weekly trigger so that you can see. So you can see price is white. So those are your two triggers. The hourly trigger's the violet one, and the blue trigger's the daily trigger. You can see how they're pinching together. And now there's price sitting in between the two of them. Once price moves above the hourly trigger right here, $4.35. This is 1 minute closing prices here. Once we move above that hourly trigger, then we can start to be in a position to challenge this daily trigger at $4.45. That's that blue line there. If we can get through that, we have a shot. They're running this wet blanket algorithm, so we know they're going to try to defend it, but we have a shot based on volume and some of the other things I'm seeing, zones of strength, to where we could get through that. If we do, we can have a sharp move up to 538. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but at this point, the victory we need to score is to move above this damn daily trigger at 445. They're going to try to defend it, but we've got a zone of strength later today that I think will carry us up to at least a moment of truth for today, and see whether or not we're going to win or they're going to win again. If we can get above that daily trigger, we can spike up to this Anemoi weekly trigger at $5.38, and then the really big air pocket sits, as I render that to a monthly trigger, up at 1188. It sits up here. So there's your big air pocket, is between that weekly trigger and that monthly trigger. And if that's going to happen, slight possibility it could happen this week. More likely in my work, even if we get a bullish resolution today into my intraday zone of strength, the more likely for this to unfold into next week, rather. So let me kill that and show you guys this 5-minute model view of volume. Okay, so this was a nice little well-defined wedging volume pattern from yesterday, and you can see the nesting arresting volume. You can see the rise in volume. Unfortunately, as volume starts to rise here, they take control, knock AMC to the downside. Left behind a hidden retest at 437, inverted. So this was supposed to be a zone of strength, and it's not a coincidence that you saw this huge this big price spike right here. As price started to curl up toward the zone of strength, they manipulate and force the market in the opposite direction. If you guys are subscribers, you know that anytime they move price in the opposite direction of what the model's predicting, that's an inversion, and it's a turning point, and it's a buy. So that worked. Then we move back up into 437, which is now vibration. So if you guys are familiar with my with behavioral analysis, you know on that fast market break, that's the A leg. This is a B, back up to vibration, C, D, E. So that's why I have this marked as okay. Everything's taken care of. There's no reason for 437 to be sticky on the way back up, but we do have this 435 Anemoi hourly trigger. That's an acceleration trigger, so hopefully what happens as price trades toward this blue box, which is our zone of strength today intraday, that will shoot right through there, attack this 445 Anemoi daily trigger, and then that's your moment of truth today. Now, we've got other zones of strength over on this side of the timeline for tomorrow, and then intensifying into next week. So we'll see how that works out, but this is really key. Price is down into a trampoline here. Even if they were to run stops one more time below yesterday's low in front of this zone of strength, it will trigger a buy, and it's like one of those trampoline setups where I personally might even go buy some weekly options, but very small. But on a trampoline play like that, that's the setup to do that for me personally. You guys can see the volume characteristics here are in our favor. As you're going through all the vibration sequence and everything else, they were able to post a 303,000 share red bar and a 400,000 share red bar. But then on the way back up to vibration, the bulls post this 561,000 share and this 719,000 share green bars. So again, We have green volume, so green closing bar, bullish volume engulfing the bearish volume. Now in this pullback here that we're in today, the volume starts to drop off again, closer to that the old nesting resting volume. If you want, you can start to take a look at another sort of small degree wedge pattern here if you want to try to figure out when volume should start to pick up to the upside. But you know that this is our zone of strength today. So that's what things look like on my side. All I can say is that I know they're running the algorithm to reject us once we move into this zone of strength, assuming price tracks today. But if someone big steps in on the buying side and can move price above this Nimoy trigger at 445, then that algorithm breaks and it will jump that wet blanket and we can be off to the races. So interesting day here, but it's a bullish setup in my work. And as you can see here, my note from yesterday accumulating here, because this is an accumulation zone in front of this zone of strength. So we'll see. I think the good guys could end up having a nice day today. That's it from my side. Good luck.